Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, I'm going to be doing the PCV system, just kind of highlighting some things that I had to do in order to get this PCV system replaced. It's a 2005, I guess, and a half V70 cross country, and some of the PCV stuff is a lot different than the P80s as far as taking your manifold out and stuff like that. First thing I did was pull the air box out so I can get that out of the way. Then I actually drained the coolant because it has coolant in that system, and I pulled the radiator fan out to get that out of the way. The video will highlight a few other things I had to do. The fuel rail's a little different. Access to a few bolts are a little different. But these highlights may help you through doing that PCV job yourself. So it's not a step-by-step, but I think it does have some decent information in there to help you through this job. I have the strut brace off, or the stabilizer bar rather. Got this OTE pipe off over the engine pipe, and this metal sleeve is coming out of this one. This is where it goes into the turbo. I'm going to tap that in with something so that it seats down in there properly. And just keep on rolling. That thing would not tap in, but I was able to get over it and press it in on the ground. So it'll press in, will not tap in. I wanted to gain some access to the front of this car for the PCV system, so I pulled the fan out of the way. Has one big plug. I unplugged. Around here somewhere. Here it is. Squoze those tabs, unplugged that. Took two screws out the top of the fan. One of those were missing. I moved this hose out of the top of the radiator, which is near impossible to get to that 7, so I had to use a boxed-in wrench. Moved that out of the way because you got to shift the fan toward the passenger side to get it out on this vehicle. So fan's out of the way. I should have better access to this weird PCV stuff. Now, last time I did this, I promised myself I would pull this power steering line out of the way, but I think pulling the fan out of the way will help me gain access to that killer bolt there on the bottom of that PCV. So, intake manifold. Let me keep rolling. I'm taking this fuel rail off this intake manifold so that I can get to this PCV, taking the manifold off. This thing has a T15. You take that screw out to get the fuel line disconnected. Let me go ahead and take that screw loose, disconnect that fuel line, pull this rail out of the way. Disconnected this hose off the back of this brake thing because I didn't want to break that. Don't want to be liable for $280 worth of that. And let me keep going from there. I'm taking the fuel rail off. You got a little T15 you take out. Then this has a clip in it. You got to pry that clip out just a little bit, not to break it, and lift it up. Then that releases the fuel line from the fuel rail. So I should be able to pull this fuel rail up and out of here now without breaking anything, and keep on working. It was tough getting to that screw right there, but you can see we're having some intake issues here. A lot of look like oil and crud coming down there. Besides that, I took this clamp loose off the charge pipe. I massaged the intake up over the fuel line, which I put a glove over to catch the vapors. That was messing with my head. We all know nothing else needs to happen with that. And fed this through there, pulled this line off, careful not to bust it, and I lifted the intake manifold up and off of that, and of course I disconnected it back here off the intake tube here because I didn't want that getting stressed. I want this stress-free. I don't want to break that. That's an expensive piece. Got that bolt out of there. Got to be careful cleaning this stuff out. And man, that is totally gummed up there. And not breaking none of this stuff. See, that should probably be replaced because it's gummed up. And I'd be careful not to break that, or it probably should have been ordered and replaced. That's an expensive piece too, but you can see it's carboned up. So I got to clean all this out, replace this box, get all this cleaned up and replaced. Let's get chopping. Very careful I didn't order this wraparound hose. Very careful not to damage that. So now I got to spray in there to make sure I get fluid out of the big main hose to verify that that thing is cleaned out and serviceable. Look at the sludge in that thing. That needs to be cleaned out. That needs to be cleaned out. I'm going to run this giant zip line down those to clean those out. I'm a little surprised at how gummed up this is. Got some white sludge in there. This is really from this thing having short trips. All that stuff being sludged up. So I do have a box in that hose. This little hose down there. Need to clean the rest of the stuff out. Clean that out. Start putting this thing back together. And you know, besides Panther, this is one of the worst PCV gunk up jobs I think I've had. I've scraped a lot of stuff out of there. Look at all that carbon left down there. I had a lot on that rag. Now I gotta poke something down there, try to get it down in the oil pan. I don't know, man. This is pretty bad. My buddy Dan said the one in that car was worse, but jeez, this stuff is horrible. Alright, now I'm cleaning this banjo bolt fitting. The first thing I did was scraped it out with this wire. Scraped around all the carbon. You know, it's a banjo bolt. It goes around, has a groove in it. Then I scraped in it with this stainless steel brush to get everything out I could around the banjo bolt fitting. If you can see in there, it's doing pretty good. Then I sprayed in there with some brakes parts cleaner. Of course, that end of it is disconnected. And I put something under it. Then I put this tip in there from the brake parts cleaner, sprayed down in there, and I actually heard a little thump and a pop. And then the brake parts cleaner sprayed all that stuff out of there. So I'm going to spray in here a little bit more with this brake parts cleaner, clean this a little bit more. Then I'm going to install a new box and get this thing buttoned up. Now, I will say this. That bottom box screw on the passenger side is one tough bolt to reach. There's just not a lot of room in this thing. But anyway, got to keep rolling. Went to go pull that bolt out. Couldn't get that bolt out with the thermostat housing in place. So, cut a little notch out of the intake manifold to put the new intake manifold on. And let's go get this back. I think I got this bolt on without a lot of fuss, without too much fight. It looks on and proper. Man, I can't hardly see that thing. I want to get a good look at it. Do-do-do. Alright, let me watch that video clip. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.